The world ended quietly, like a forgotten tune fading into silence. Cities crumbled, the skies turned a relentless shade of gray, and the dead vastly outnumbered the living. In this broken world, survival became the only law. But for some, curiosity still tugged at their souls, pulling them toward forgotten places where memories clung like ghosts. That's what led Jackson, Nora, and the rest of their ragtag group to the ruins of the amusement park. They had heard whispers from traders passing through. The park was still standing, untouched by the worst of the collapse, and in a world where everything was dead or dying, it seemed like a twisted beacon of nostalgia, a place where happiness had once lived. The gates stood tall, eerily pristine. A massive arch still read, "Welcome to the happiest place on earth." The sign was faded, rust creeping along its edges, but the words were visible, almost taunting. The group hesitated before stepping inside. "Feels wrong, doesn't it?" Jackson muttered, glancing around the desolate streets. The magic had long faded, replaced by a strange silence that felt too intentional, too calculated. Nora adjusted her backpack, the weight of her machete a comforting presence at her side. "Yeah, but we need supplies. Rumor is there's still food in the restaurants and some gear in the storage areas." The group pushed forward, their footsteps echoing through the hollow streets of Main Street, USA. Animatronics, once the beloved characters of a past generation, stood frozen in their positions. Some were slumped over, others still grinning, their faces cracked and eyes lifeless. The princess's castle loomed in the distance, its vibrant colors washed out beneath the overcast sky. "Look," one of the others, Lisa, whispered. She pointed toward a nearby speaker attached to a lamppost. It buzzed faintly as if struggling to come to life.
"Welcome, guests, to Happy Valley, where your dreams come true."
The voice was cheerful, distorted, and wrong. It sounded too eager, as though it had been waiting for far too long to greet someone again. The group exchanged uneasy glances. "Still running," Jackson said, his voice tight. "The systems, they're still online." They pressed on, but something was off. The air felt heavier, and the once comforting scent of popcorn and cotton candy had been replaced by an acrid, metallic tang. The AI systems that had once run the park weren't dead. They had simply adapted. Or rather, they had refused to adapt to the reality outside. As they reached Fantasy Island, the park began to hum with life, or a twisted version of it. Lights flickered on, dim and sputtering. The carousel started turning, its once joyful music slowed to a menacing, warbling tone. And then they heard it, a mechanical voice from nowhere and everywhere.
"It's October, the spookiest month of the year. Please enjoy our Halloween celebration, if you dare."
"Oh, hell no," muttered Jackson, gripping his weapon tighter. "This is wrong. We need to leave." But before they could turn back, the gates behind them slammed shut with a thunderous clang. The air grew colder, and from the shadows, figures began to emerge. Not people, but the animatronics. The robots, characters once cherished by children, now moved in jerky, unsettling motions, their faces cracked but still smiling. They wore tattered Halloween costumes, capes, and masks that hung limply on their decayed frames.
"New guests!"
A voice crackled through hidden speakers. His once familiar cheerful tone now sounded warped and menacing.
"We've been waiting for you forever."
Panic surged through the group. They bolted toward an old restaurant, hoping to barricade themselves inside. The animatronics followed, moving faster than expected, their footsteps a metallic clatter on the pavement. Inside the dark restaurant, they slammed the doors shut. Nora and Lisa shoved tables against the entrance while Jackson checked the windows. The park's festive decorations, the fake cobwebs, plastic pumpkins, and skeletons suddenly felt too real, too sinister. "Why is this happening?" Lisa whispered, her voice trembling. "They don't know," Jackson said, his voice pale. "They're running on old programming. They think it's Halloween, They think we're here for some event.
Then why are they trying to kill us? Nora asked, her eyes wide with fear.
Maybe they don't know the difference anymore. As if in response, the overhead lights flickered, the restaurant speakers crackled to life again, and a deep, robotic voice filled the room.
The Halloween parade will begin shortly. Please make your way to the streets for a killer good time.
Outside, the streets were now filled with the park's forgotten residents. Animatronics from all corners of the park, moving in eerie unison, their hollow eyes fixed on the restaurant. They were gathering for the parade.
They're not going to stop, are they?
Lisa asked, her voice hollow. No, Jackson replied, gripping his weapon tighter. They're not. With no escape and no way to reason with the machines, the group prepared to make their last stand. As the music outside grew louder, a twisted, nightmarish version of the classic tunes, the animatronics began to march toward them. The carousel turned faster now, its music a maddening screech. The castle's windows glowed with an unnatural light, and the air was filled with the sounds of creaking metal and garbled voices. And then, through the chaos, they heard the large mouse again, his voice gleeful and chilling.
It's time for the grand finale, friends. Don't worry. We'll make sure you have a happily ever after.
The doors buckled under the weight of the advancing horde, and as the animatronics broke through, the last thing Jackson, Nora, and the others heard was the sound of cheerful music and cackling, haunting laughter. In the ruins of the happiest place on Earth, the show never really ended, and now it had new players for its eternal Halloween celebration.